to another episode of Real Talk with realtors about real estate. And the title changes almost every time we say it, but that is our podcast title for today. We're going to actually talk about some fun stuff. We want to talk about scandalous homes and properties that may be something that's going on in the media today. And the first one is going to be the estate of the Murdaugh Estate.
If you have not watched that documentary, watch
Netflix.
it.
Yeah. There's a lot, there's a ton of also Datelines and stuff on it, but I thought the Netflix one was really good.
The Netflix one was really well done. And then I have not watched the Hulu one, but I know a lot of people who have. And that one's supposed to be really good too. It sounds like the Hulu one focuses a little bit more on the son, and the Netflix one is the son and then the dad. It's like half the first couple episodes are the son, the next are the dad. Yeah. So we don't want to ruin anything for you if you haven't watched it yet, but it's so good. I watched it in 2 days.
So that, if you don't know, is where this very prominent attorney was convicted of murdering his wife and his 21-year-old son. It's the Murdaugh family. They were very prominent in
Waterboro,
South Carolina. Is that South Carolina?
Walterboro, South Carolina.
Yeah. So their estate was on the market for
$3.9 million.
$3.9 million, and it is in contract. And it was a lot of acreage, and they had a beautiful home plus.
Yeah, they have the home, the cottage. They have a barn or two. It's on hunting land.
Yes, and so down the kennels. The kennels were the big thing in the murder trial because that's where he shot them. The house is 55,275 square feet, 4-bed, 3.5-bath, and it's on almost 1,800 acres. And it's sold, right?
And it's
in
pending
contract anyway. Yeah, so.
Hunting land, recreational land. There's a pond. There's a lake.
Yeah, too bad they didn't show any interior photos.
I know. You can find it online, but they just show photos of the land and the outside of the house, which you also see in
And it's called the Moselle Property, and it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So that's sort of where he got busted, because I was listening to some of the trial stuff, and he was like, they asked, did you see anybody out there or hear anybody out there? Were the dogs alerted to anybody being out there when you were out there? And he goes, well, no, why would they be? There was no one else out there. Well, if there's no one else out there, then it must have been you, because it's out in the middle of nowhere, and you would know. You can tell when a car is coming down this long ass driveway.
And they have a bunch of hunting dogs, so they go crazy every time someone comes on the property.
Somebody would have been out there, they would have been going crazy. Yeah. And they probably have, well, I guess they didn't have cameras because we would have heard about that. But
so they were recently convicted.
Yes, he was convicted a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Going bye-bye, but of course he's appealing. Should be interesting.
Of course he is. He won't win.
So yeah, that one's in contract. And then one of the other things that's kind of...
How would that compare to being in California?
Yeah, I was going to say that. If this property in South Carolina, 3.7, no. Maybe 37 million, and it depends on where it is in California.
Yeah. I mean, 1,700 acres.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
I mean, in Northern California, our area, Chico,
yeah,
it still would have been more than 3.7, but it wouldn't have been 37 million either.
So if you have a 5,200 square foot home on that much land, I mean, I think it'd be double in price.
Yeah.
If it's in our area.
Around 10 million or a little less.
Yeah. If it's in Northern California.
Yeah. If it's in, let's say, Santa Barbara, then
80 million.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more. Good point, Court.
But
Good
South
point.
Carolina, I mean, it's not a bad place to be. A lot of people are moving to the Carolinas.
Oh yeah,
so.
It's popular right now.
Yeah.
The other people that seem to be in the media a lot are
the Royals.
Yeah, Meghan and Harry. I mean, you either love them or you hate them. or you're like and you don't really care.
I don't know much about them, but it looks like they were and we don't know a whole lot about this. And the stuff I'm finding online is a little bit mixed, but it looks like they were living in the Frogmore Cottage. You say cottage, but it's 10 bedrooms. So it's not really a cottage, but to them it is. And they were kicked out by King Andrew. No. Yes. Well, given to Andrew.
Yeah. So I guess the Royals asked him to move out and let Andrew move in. And he's scandalous in his own right. I mean, he's with, he got
Catherine.
He got busted.
Oh, wait. No, that's someone else. Yeah, I can't keep track of them.
She does not know her Royals.
I don't.
But he was in the Epstein debacle.
In
My
the
new
debacle.
favorite word.
In cahoots or something like that.
He got in trouble. He got stripped of all his military
Recognition.
Yeah, and I think he is kind of no longer considered a royal. But
King Charles wanted to give him this cottage.
Yeah, so he gave it to the other person.
Maybe he feels bad for him.
Okay. Or maybe you just want to stick it to Meghan and Harry, who, I mean, come on. Like, how many bedrooms? And I don't know.
They could probably just buy their own house.
I'm not feeling it with Meghan and Harry. I did not read his book, and I'm not going to. I didn't watch the Netflix, and I'm not going to. I feel like they're being whiny little babies. And I mean, nobody really knows if you're not in it, but come on. What did you expect? How do you not know that this is going to be hard? It's not going to be easy. If Diana didn't prove anything, I mean, if she proved anything, that was that being involved with this family is not easy. And to just go off and then spill all the beans and tell all the family stories. What's that? Air your dirty laundry. Not cool. And I think they're doing it to make money, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's, we live in a capitalist society. That's fine.
Did you know that so the cottage that's now Prince Andrew's, the 10-bedroom cottage, its name is Nottingham Cottage, otherwise known as Not Caught. Like, can you just imagine them saying the Not Caught?
Well, I thought it was Frogmore.
No, this one says not caught. The 10-bedroom house, although it seems increasingly unlikely that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be spending much time in the UK in coming months, Frogmore Cottage, their former Windsor home, has now been offered to Prince Andrew by King Charles. The 10-bedroom house alongside... Oh, that's... Okay, so the cottage is Frogmore Cottage, alongside Harry's first residence, Not Caught. So that's the residence is Not Caught, and then on the same property is the Frogmore Cottage.
Yeah, that's when he was probably single and being
so that's pretty cool.
And not caught.
Ooh, there's a spin.
Well, interestingly enough, I guess, I just think it's bizarre that they took it away from them and gave it to Andrew, who is in all sorts of trouble for having sexual relations with a woman under Epstein's rule, I guess.
Yeah. So another fun fact is that they filmed their documentary at a different house. I don't know exactly where it is. I'm assuming it's
it's in the United States.
The United
Probably
States.
Probably in LA somewhere.
Yeah. So that house is for sale, and it's $33.5 million.
And that wasn't a house they were living in.
No.
They had just chosen to do their Netflix documentary there.
Yeah, it's a mega mansion, but it only has 6 bedrooms. So I know.
Well, you know what though? I mean,
Peasants.
that was good for the owner. I mean, brought it notoriety. Good marketing.
That's how the Bachelor Mansion is. Like, that's somebody's house, and then they just rent it out for what they spend a month there, because then they go travel and they make how much, like, probably pays their entire mortgage for the year just to rent their house
don't
out.
even have a mortgage.
Yeah, that's true. But I will say they need to paint that house if it's going to continue being on TV, because it's got water stains everywhere.
So that is something I definitely don't know anything about.
I haven't been watching this season.
I got the Royals down, but I don't have that down. Actually, I don't even have the Royals down, but that is another good Netflix series. Netflix everywhere, actually.
And it's Santa Barbara. Sorry.
Oh, in Santa Barbara. Yeah. Well, that's where Oprah lives.
It says, thus have attracted a whole host of celebrities, including Oprah Winfrey, Tom Cruise, Ellen DeGeneres, who own homes there in the same area, in the same secluded hillside estate.
Nice.
So if we want to be besties with Oprah, we just have to buy this house.
You know, I have a picture of Oprah about as close as you are to me right now.
I know, I remember that.
It came up on my stories the other day, or on my memories from my 50th birthday. She's pretty amazing. Let's wind it down from $33 million or 300. What is it?
33.5
in Santa Barbara to Chico, California.
So last but not least, Chico, California has arguably the most interesting,
I would say, and it is a Netflix series under Unsolved Mysteries, and it's called The Ghost in Apartment 14. If you have not
watched that,
totally watch it. It's so interesting, especially if you know Chico, because they did they did film some of it here.
Yeah, you're like, I know that street.
Gory, yeah. They because the girl was the ghost was kidnapped on Mangrove Avenue. And
The ghost was kidnapped.
The ghost, yeah, when she
the
was
person
alive.
who turned into the ghost.
The person that turned into the ghost that lived in apartment 14 over off of Rio Lindo in the Parmac, I think it's called, apartment complex. I'm assuming there is no more apartment 14. They probably just got rid of that number altogether. At least it wasn't 13.
Yeah, that would have been weirder for sure.
Anyways, that is so interesting. Jodie Foster, not the Jodie Foster, but the other Jodie Foster from Chico, or that lives in Chico, California, lived in this apartment. She wrote a book about it. Unsolved Mysteries picked it up for an episode. And even if it wasn't Chico, I was totally into it.
My eyes were watering left and right.
I know, because her eyes water when she hears ghost stories.
I was bawling.
But it was good.
It was so good.
It was
Dylan didn't.
gory,
My husband
but
didn't
good.
watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it is sad about like the, other stuff that happens too. I mean, not the, somebody being murdered is horrible. And
I honestly skipped a couple parts. Like I did fast forward some of the descriptions of the kidnapping and stuff like that. 'Cause it was pretty detailed, like more so than I think it normally is.
Yeah.
But I would still highly recommend it. Like it was a great episode, and it's interesting that it happened right here in Chico. And I think that ghost is still, I don't remember how it ended. Is the ghost still living on there?
Well, I think it ended with Jodie giving exact coordinates where they think her body is.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause we need to find her body.
And she got that in a dream.
Yeah.
So she's definitely intuitive, in my opinion. I mean, I'm friends with her on Facebook. I've actually never had a conversation with her, but I feel like she has some skill in that intuitive world. So if you haven't watched it, check that one out too. So we're just talking about all sorts of Netflix episodes here, and
yeah, Netflix does. If they do one thing well, it's documentaries. Their documentaries are always
still
good.
kicking myself from the time that Tom Ferry had Gary Vaynerchuk in a room with 100 of us, and somebody said, what would you invest in next? And he said Netflix, and it was when it was still like Redbox and you just go rent them.
Yeah.
And within 6 months, Netflix blew up.
Oh,
it's like, dang, I should have bought that stock.
My parents got on Netflix right in the beginning, right? Because they're so, they don't want to go to the store. Just have something mailed to you. That's way easier. So they got on that right away, right when it came out. It's pretty cool. And then I remember my freshman year in college was when they started having the online viewing.
Yes.
And
so what year was that, would you say?
That was 2012 is when I went to college. I think it came out right before that, like 2010, 2011.
But I don't think it really took off for a while.
No. So when I first started watching it, there was like Clue. The movie was a good one. I watched that. Never had seen it before, but there's nothing else to watch on there. So I watched Clue a few times. And then there was Without a Paddle. And that was like the only 2 movies I ever watched on there.
That's funny.
There's like 10 options. It was so cool.
I think this episode was more about Netflix than anything else. But anyway, is there anything else?
No, let's wrap it up.
That was
Thanks
fun.
for listening to us chit chat about real estate.
Yep. Good
Peace
times.
out.